Groveland. Do you know what's up in Groveland? We do. I'm Beth Greenhagen.
And I'm Rich York.
And we're here to bring you hyper-local news and information about Groveland. We're glad to have you back. First, ever wondered how to get news about Groveland? Groveland Community News Productions is filling some of that void with this TV show, What's Up Groveland? And we'd like to give you a couple more options. Did you know there's a weekly newspaper called the Town Common? The paper covers Groveland and many other North Shore towns, and it's free. You will soon be able to pick up a paper copy at several curb boxes in town or read it at the Langley Adams Library. You can also read it online at thetowncommon.com and subscribe for free to get a weekly copy by email. Consider subscribing and support our local news partner. In addition to print media, we also have a nearby radio station in downtown Haverhill. The building houses Boston's popular music station, The River, 92.5 FM, and Greater Haverhill's only public radio station, WHAV 97.9. We want to meet the man behind the voice of the popular morning show, Win for Breakfast, Win Damon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hi.
I'm Stephanie Bartelt. I'm the producer for What's Up Groveland and Groveland Community News Productions.
Nice. Nice to meet you.
We're here to find out more about you for our viewers in Groveland.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Can you tell us about you? How long have you been here at WHAV?
I've been at WHAV for about 6 years. I came in 2017, 2018, and started mornings in 2019. I sell underwriting, so that's how we're a nonprofit. So that's how we make our ends meet.
Yep.
We get underwriters and listener support as well too. Very, very important. So don't mean to. I just need to make sure that I don't let the music run out. That's a horrible thing in the radio world. But yeah, this is the original building, late 40s, and WHAV and WHAV FM. They were both here. Eventually, the WHAV AM was sold and the format changed, so that programming disappeared, and the FM stayed, which is now it's known as the River. There used to be other things prior to that, but now it's the River.
Can you tell us about WHAV's role in the community?
WHAV's role in the community is really to inform. Nobody really covers the Haverhill news like WHAV does. We cover city council meetings, we cover school committee meetings. We actually air the meetings live most of the time, and then we have local news and information. So yeah, we're the informational outlet. If we were a newspaper, we would be the paper of record, but we're a radio station, so we're the radio station of record. But we also have everything that we have on the air. It's also online as far as the news goes at whav.net.
How many reporters do you have?
We have 3 people help us.
And you cover Haverhill and its surrounding communities.
Yes. Yeah.
WHAV.
Got to do the news.
Sponsored by Haverhill Bank, local banking, people you know, and support for causes you care about. Online at haverhillbank.com.
And good morning, Carly. In downtown Haverhill, the temperature 26 degrees. Forestry Services told councilors that the project is expected to take down 2,470 trees on a project. April city councilors will review tonight past legal decisions on permitting solar array on the study pending city council approval. Silver Hill School is moving further along in its process. The program, and back before they had the tape recordings, which they don't use now, they did everything on disc.
Wow.
Just like Thomas Edison.
I guess the last question, Matt, that I have would be, what else would you like our viewers to know, Mr. Damon?
Oh my gosh. Well, we, being a nonprofit, we really need the support of listeners, and corporate underwriting is definitely something that is worthwhile. And really, if you have anything going on, let us know about it, because we have access to thousands of listeners. We have on the radio, on the web, and people stream on the web too. They stream the audio, and whoops.
70 miles an hour.
And then and we can get the information out. Like yesterday, there was a water main break on Winter Street at the corner of Emerson, and we had it on within 5 minutes, and that's important. Nobody else is going to do that. The Boston stations don't care, and and there aren't any other local radio stations that give you local news. We can do that because our program covers a smaller area, so we can focus on certain towns. So that's the important thing. Nobody does what we do.
Yes. Our viewers might remember you from interviewing our select board candidates last spring. So we appreciate you for doing that.
Oh, that's an important thing too. Nobody would, not that it's not important, because it is important, but no other radio station would do that. And we do that. Public radio, the public stations in Boston, they don't care. They don't even do their own towns. And the other stations cover too large of an area, but we can do that. So we try to do as much as we can, but you got to juggle.
Well, thank you so much. Just these few minutes that we got to spend with you were really fun. Thank you for showing us what it's like to be a DJ on the radio. This is cool.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you related to Matt?
No.
What a bummer. People must ask you that all the time.
Yeah, they do. And when Johnny Damon was here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
People forget Johnny Damon.
Matt?
You can find Win by tuning in to 97.9 weekday mornings. WHAV has podcast options and a very informative website that often features Groveland at whav.net. And now we are thrilled to bring you a special interview with someone we know you'll be happy to see. He's one of your favorites, Groveland. Here's Elaine.
Hello and welcome to Groveland Community News. My name is Elaine Tamizian-Muse, and today we will be learning about someone many Groveland residents may know or at least have seen and spoken to, Mr. Dick Willett. Hello, Dick, and thank you for allowing us to interview you today.
Thank you.
I have a series of questions, but I also want you to feel free to add anything you would like our viewers to know. So many of our Groveland residents shop at the Lincoln Plaza Market Basket and probably have experienced your professional service there. Please share how you came to work at Market Basket.
Well, back in 1999, I bought a condo at the Groveland Estates, which is weird because it's in Haverhill, so I still feel like a part of Groveland. And went over and got the interview, and because when I went in there, I told them, I says, I'm blind. And they said, oh, okay. So the first day I went in, the guy gave me a long white coat and a pricing gun. I couldn't understand it because I told him I was blind. So he says, put it on $2.85. Took me about 15 minutes. When I got done tagging stuff, he says, well, I think you can use you in the front. I says, okay. So that night, the guy told me, he says, you got to stay till 9:30. I says, why is that? He says, you got to help straighten out the aisles. So he put me in the pill section, the little pill bottles. Every one I touched, 40 fall over. I went up, I told him, I says, listen, I don't know if they told you, but I'm blind. I can't do that. They're falling all over the place. Next thing out of his mouth was, can you go out and get carriages? I'm like, what about blind? Do you understand?
I know.
But yeah, it's a great place. I went over and got the job. I've been there 25 years now, and met a lot of people, all my customers. I love them all. And met a lot of people. that's helped me out, actually, you know, and it's just amazing. I think there's more good people in this world, at least in Massachusetts, than bad people.
That's a wonderful thing to hear. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Haverhill all my life, been living in Haverhill. Came from a family of 8, 5 brothers, 3 sisters. My father died young at 46, he passed, so left us with our mother, which ruled with an iron broomstick. And she knew what you were doing even before you thought it. So it was great. It's we're all tight. We're still talking to each other, the ones that are left. There's only 2 of us that have passed. And yeah, it was great. Good upbringing. And we're still tight and everything. So my mom did a really good job.
That's so nice to hear. It's so nice to hear. What childhood memories stand out for you?
Shining shoes at all the bars in Haverhill at the age of 12. We used to make our own shoe shine box go down because all the old fellas never wore sneakers back then.
Right.
Stuff like that. A lot of going around with the friends around Haverhill and
Yeah.
just having a good time.
Must have been so different then, too.
Oh, it was very much different. I'd be lucky to be getting my sight again. Would love to see how things changed.
Oh, I bet.
There's so many new buildings.
I bet. When you think back on what you saw at the time, what images stand out to you? As far as the way Haverhill looked, or...
Yeah, well, I lived on Harrison Street, which is down near almost into Lafayette Square. We used to hang around the railroad tracks all the time. I remember all that. As kids, you know, just hustling around.
Right.
And like I said, going around to the bars and shining shoes. And
Were people big tippers then?
Yeah,
They were?
yeah, yeah.
That's good. That's so good.
Yeah, a quarter was a big tip back then.
Oh, wow. That added up, though, because you had
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of bars, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. When you think about people that influenced your life, I know you mentioned your mom. Are there any people that stand out to you in the early part of your life and then the later part of your life?
Nobody that really stands out. I mean, I had a lot of friends. We hung
Yeah.
around, you know, in groups of kids, and a lot of my friends. And police officers were nice back then. You know, they would walk the beat, you know, cross you across the street. They were pretty impressive.
So you got to know
I know-
certain people
yeah,
because
yeah.
they were the same ones in the same places.
Yeah.
Nice, okay. What kind of work, I know you said your dad passed very young. What kind of work did your parents do?
My mother was a housewife, but she also, when my father passed, she worked at Dunkin' Donuts for a while down on Winter Street. And so my father worked, he was a jack of all trades. He'd do plumbing and stuff like that. He used to take me on plumbing, but every time I went, he only made me clean out the bowl.
Oh, gee.
Which I didn't
I'm sure
really
you got
care
very
for.
good at that,
Yeah.
right?
But he worked at Western Electric for the most part.
I see, yeah. Boy, a lot of things aren't there anymore.
No, they're
So
not.
interesting. What were some of your favorite places to go as a child or a young adult in Haverhill?
Gar Park. I used to go to Gar Park back in the 70s and bum cigarettes off from the hippies that had the long black coats and the peace signs. And,
Oh, wow, that was a different time, huh?
yeah.
When
Well,
you say Gar Park, is it G-A-R Park? What is Gar? I'm not from around here originally.
Yeah, I don't know what the original name is. I call it Gar Park because that's what a lot of people call it. But
Okay.
it does have another name. It has a Hannah Dustin statue in it
Oh, okay, yes.
across from the library.
Yep, I know the place you mean, sure. Let's see. What advice would you give to younger generations about life in general, if you were to give some advice?
Well, I work with a lot of young people, and sometimes I feel like Market Bassett's psychologist. So I do help them with their issues, you know.
I bet.
There's a lot of different issues these days. But what advice would I give them?
Yeah,
Do your job with common sense. It's a common sense job. Some of these people, kids, They most likely don't want to be there because their parents probably made them go to work.
Yeah.
But, you know, still nice kids. But I don't know. I take pride in how to bag my groceries, you know. Don't crush nothing.
Right.
I hear horror stories from the customers. The kid
Right.
put the egg down and then cans on top of them.
Right. I know, that sure isn't common sense, is it?
No. It's
What
an easy job. It's really, for me anyways. I mean, people say, how do you do that? It's just with my hands.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you do, like you said, you take pride in your work, so
I do.
I'm sure that there's a lot of thought that goes into everything that you do.
Mostly just jokes that I tell people.
Yes, I've been there for some of those.
I got people come down and say, what's the joke of the day, Dick?
Oh, really? Oh, I'll have to remember that.
I also have them saying, you know, thanks for making me laugh. You made my day. And
Yes.
that makes me happy.
Sure it
You
does,
know?
and that's quite a nice gift, too.
I,
What do you hope the future holds for the Merrimack Valley?
well, I hope they get more houses up. I mean, they're doing it now. People need a place to live, and
Right.
and rent is just outrageous.
Yes.
I think that needs to come down. I don't know how it's going to be, but it's just outrageous.
Yes.
My son, that's 21, is living with us because he can't afford it. You know,
Yeah.
so
It is a problem, for
Yeah.
sure. Are there any traditions or values that you think are important to keep going in the Merrimack Valley? Maybe some that you experienced as a younger person that you think should continue today?
well, back when I was young, there were a lot of shoe shops.
Yes.
In fact, my mother did work at a shoe shop too with my sister, and I forget the name of it. But there was a lot of shoe shops. There was, you know, business like that should somehow come back this way.
Manufacturing.
Manufacturing jobs would be nice.
Let's see, if you could sum up the Merrimack Valley or the Haverhill community, which is the community you know best, what's one word or phrase you would use to describe it?
I think it's a safe place.
Nice.
There's a lot of nice people in Haverhill and in Groveland and wherever all my customers come from.
I know, right? I mean, you must meet all kinds of people,
I do.
all walks of life, young, old, because we all have to eat and food shop, right?
That's right.
Okay. As we come to the close of our time together, what brings the most joy in your life right now?
Making people laugh. That's really my joy.
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I'm sure it's very appreciated too. Is there anything else that I haven't asked you, Dick, that whether it's about Market Basket or your life or anything that you'd like to add?
I used to be in a band.
Oh no. What did you play an instrument or sing?
I play guitar. Have been since 8 years old. I sing. We did a lot of Beatles, Stones. The name of the band was the Blind Fools, and I was the blind guy. The other two were the fools.
Do you still play a guitar?
I play guitar every day. I pick it up every day.
You do?
I'm not in a band now because I got
wish knew
married
that.
and
We
had
could have
children.
we could have had a little concert here.
Oh yeah, no, I'm up for talking, but not doing. I guess I could, but I didn't bring it.
There is something that I would like to bring out, just because I'm not sure who all our viewers are, and we all have challenges we address in our lives, either now or will. You've mentioned several times that you've been blind,
Yes,
and you are blind.
I am.
Could you talk a little bit about how that came about?
Well, my mother was a carrier of the gene retinitis pigmentosus, and that is an eye problem that takes away from your peripherals first, and then over time, what I see now is just fog. I don't see shadows anymore, just fog. But I can see light, which is good. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it looks like it's light outside to me.
Has losing your sight, I mean, I'm assuming it was a gradual process?
It's very gradual. I used to drive. Nobody would drive with me because my glasses were really thick and my face was on the windshield as I was driving.
What was it like for you to know that your sight would continually become diminished?
It didn't bother me. I mean, like I said, I drove, I worked. You know, it didn't bother me. It doesn't bother me now either. It just doesn't. It's almost like a gift for me, you know what I mean?
Well, tell me more about that. How is losing your sight a gift?
Because people see me and they kind of care for me. You know, I got the kids over there will protect me. I was over to Market Basket one day. I walked out and I hit the door jamb with my face. I'm good at that. So they saw that, and then the very same week, I was going outside and I was going out the wrong door, and the door swung open and hit me in the head. That almost knocked me out. So every time I go to step outside, they're like, "Go help Dick. Help Dick get out the door."
So they're looking out for you.
They are. They protect me. They're my protectors. They're my groupies.
Yeah, so maybe in a way you're bringing out the best in people.
I try to.
That's a really beautiful thing. That's quite a gift, for sure.
I was born with it.
It sounds like you have a wonderful attitude, too, and you have a family,
I do.
said.
I got a son, Crystal. I got a daughter named Crystal, a son, Nicholas, my wife, Sherry, my son, Danny, which is from another girl when I was 19. And, yeah, that's what I got.
Well, it sounds like your life is very full.
It is.
And thank you so much for sharing your personal details and experiences with us, because I think we can all benefit by your attitude and your love of people.
Well, you know, when you hear a person say, "You made my day," which I get all the time, you know, it's just a good feeling.
That's wonderful, Dick. It's such an honor to meet you. Thank you so much for your time.
We'll see you at Market Basket.
Yeah. Oh, yes, for sure. I'm going there today after this interview. No kidding. The bags are in the car.
If you see IDT, tell him I want to meet him.
Okay. Well, I've seen pictures of it. I've never met him myself, so
Yeah.
but I'll keep that in mind.
It's a wonderful store, wonderful place to work, and there's handicapped people like me that work there and stuff. So
It is wonderful, and you know what? We all have something that we can do to be productive in our lives if people see that opportunity.
yes,
That's great. Well, thank you again, and thank you, audience, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
And now, we all know a little bit more about someone we always look forward to seeing at Market Basket. Thank you for spending some time with us, Dick.
We can tell time again in Groveland, thanks to the effort of Steve McPherson, Groveland's Building and Facilities Supervisor.
Live from Elm Park, it's Stephen McPherson. I am the Town of Groveland Buildings and Facilities Supervisor, and welcome to our fully functional town clock. It's a year 2004 Howard Post reproduction clock, and it took a long time of checking wires all up and down Elm Park, coordinating with Groveland Electric Light Department, going back and forth with the company, and finally we whittled it down to the control panel was malfunctioning, and also malfunctioning error codes that said it was browning out, which it was not. To repair the clock, we had multiple visits from, I think it's Medford's Electric Time Corporation, who does clocks all over. If you see a clock like this, it probably has their name on it. So multiple days, the clock was reset. Had Groveland Light here, climbing poles, checking connections, underground boxes, and months it took. But now we finally are up and running, and it's been keeping time since early December. As soon as the repair crew was done, it's been, and I drive by and I check it every time now. And it's up and running. And multiple people have noticed.
You're the man, Steve.
And
You're the man.
they're very surprised and very happy. So we will no longer be the bane of people's jokes about how our clock is never right except twice a day.
Thank you, Steve, for everything you do for the town and helping make this an even better place to live. It's hard to imagine Groveland without your talents.
I agree. There's a new rotating art exhibit at the Langley Adams Library this month, thanks to local artist Ann Jones. Ann Jones recently donated and installed art installation hardware throughout the library. Then she got the ball rolling with an exhibit of her own watercolors. Ms. Jones opened the door for artists to showcase their work for the public in a friendly venue. We tracked Ms. Jones down with her friend Dale Angelica Hart and library director Darcy Lepore to bring you this unique story.
I'm Ann Jones, and I'm here at the Langley Adams Library where I'm showing at least some of my watercolor paintings. I got into painting actually somewhat late in life. I decided that I would take up watercolor, or I would take up painting, and I decided on watercolor because it was something that I didn't have a studio at the time and I could just do on the kitchen table. It was not messy, there were no fumes, and I've stayed with watercolor ever since, and I love it. It's definitely my medium. I do some still life, and I do sketch people and put them into my landscapes, but landscape is my favorite thing. I'm very lucky to be living on the North Shore. I love the Atlantic coast. I love Plum Island. I love the Maine coast, and everything there's just no place I'd rather be painting. I do paint my travels, but I still really feel most at home painting here, and it's dearest to my heart. So I paint a lot of coastal scenes, you might say. This is one of my favorites right here. It's sort of a still life of shells that I gathered and seaweed, and I painted this in my studio with the objects that I found at the shore. And there's always a little bit of surrealism, I think, in my work. I like to have a little bit of edge, a little bit of wonder, like why are there drips coming out? Are those puddles in those shells? Are they oceans? Who knows? It's called the Seven Seas. A lot of my work, like this painting, is of the marsh. The salt marsh is one of my favorite places on the coast, and I've painted it in many seasons and in many ways. This painting was so much fun to do. This is an actual place, and you can go and see it. It is across the Groveland Bridge on Burnham Street, and this person has created a fence using doors and hanging things on them and putting things behind them, peeking out of the windows. And it's just fascinating to see. The minute I saw it, I thought, that is a painting that I must do. And I titled it, "Good Fences Make Good Neighbors," a line from a Robert Frost poem. Okay. This painting is called Dawn Dusk, and it was an experimental painting for me. I masked, or with strips of masking tape, in layers, in strips across the whole painting, and I painted using a dawn palette, morning colors, and then after that I removed those and covered up what I had just done, and then I switched to an evening palette so that you have this kind of push-pull between those two color schemes and the theme of a river or a stream at dusk and at dawn, all at the same time. And then this particular painting is actually a very Groveland one. It's on the River Road, just at the bend in the river. It's a beautiful place, and I watch the birds there all the time and enjoy painting at the foot of Pleasant Street, I think it is, a little farther down. But you can see this very place, this same place. The owner had created this path down to the river with rocks, and it's very lovely. I actually do paint outdoors sometimes in snow, just because it's so beautiful and the shadows are so colorful, surprisingly. And this one is called The Three Graces. It's in the woods up behind my house at the end of the street, and it's a wonderful place to go cross-country skiing. And I just love the way the snow clings to the trees and the contrast between the darks and the lights make it really interesting.
Hi there. My name's Dale Angelico Hart, and I am actually part of Friends of the Library here at the Langley Adams Library. I actually live in the old Langley Adams Library down the street, and I'm also an artist, and I love altered books, and part of the art displays in the library is they have this fabulous display case, and I've been lucky enough to be able to put my altered books in here. A lot of people have never heard of altered books, but they sort of are a thing. They actually even go back a little bit in history, and it's taking a book and turning it into something else in a variety of ways, ripping, tearing, painting pages, and then I also went off in some other directions and made some altered books out of glass and metal, and I'm actually working on a wood one right now. So that's part of my artistic background. I even put a little, you can participate in an altered book here. I made an altered book that's a visitor log, because one of the problems here is that you can show the front of the book or you can show one page of the book, but you can't really see each of the individual pages, and each individual page is almost its own, artistic expression. So that's a little bit about altered books and more art at the Langley Adams Library, and I guess we're going to continue this more because there's lots to say about this art medium. So come to the library and check it all out.
Hi, I'm Darcy Lepore, the Library Director of Langley Adams Library. I just wanted to give some background information about the art exhibit. So it's important to note that this is a rotating art exhibit, and Dale will be here for 2 months, and then we will switch to another artist, so stay tuned for that. If you would like to apply to become one of our artists for 2 months, you can come to the library or call the library and talk to myself or Sue Nakanishi, who's the adult services librarian. And we have a form that you fill out. It's really the general guidelines and asks about the medium you use. And I would also like to give a shout out again to Anne and our adult services librarian, Sue Nakanishi. This art exhibit is really their brain baby, and I think it has been an amazing development for our library. So thank you to both of them.
This is a fun way to admire many ways people in our community can make art. If you're interested in getting on the rotating art schedule, or if you know a local artist who may be interested, please contact Sue Nakanishi at snakanishi@langleyadamslib.org.
We have more reasons to be proud of the students at Pawtucket. The Pawtucket Regional School District was smart enough to hire Mo Elhel to get their robotics department off the ground. In just 2 years, the return on investment has been spectacular. Mr. Elhel has 60 students in his robotic club. The 5th and 6th grade kids recently won first place in their innovation project. Stay tuned to hear him tell us about it. The 7th and 8th grade students grabbed 3rd place in their first event and 2nd place for robot design, where they found themselves competing against high school teams. And what about Pawtucket High School team? They ranked in the top 10% globally and they're currently in the middle of building their newest project. Here's Mr. Elhel to tell us more.
So, can you tell us who you are and what you do here?
Yeah, my name is Mo Elhel. I am the high school and middle school STEM teacher here at Pentucket Regional Middle High School, and I am the director of FIRST Robotics at Pentucket, which is a program that provides STEM learning opportunities through the FIRST Robotics program to students in grade 5 through 12 across Pentucket Regional School District.
And tell me who these students are. Are they gamers? Are they math whizzes?
Yeah, these students come from all over the place. Our program started up for the first season last year, and if you look at the students on our team, you will find class presidents, wrestling students, you'll find theater students, you'll find students who don't participate in any other programs at the school, but we're really reaching a mix of students and really creating a community for a collection of students who otherwise didn't have a community in the school. And that's been the coolest part, is being able to engage a new group of students who otherwise didn't have anything before. That was really a place that they call home.
And when we were talking earlier, you mentioned the gender diversity. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so on our high school team, we have 16 students and we're 38% gender diverse. That includes women, transgender students, and non-binary students. On our student leadership program, half of our student leadership team is female, and both of our team captains to date have been women as well.
Okay, great. And tell me about your background. Were you a robotics club kid?
Yeah, so as a student, I've actually been participating in FIRST Robotics since I was 9 years old. I was a first LEGO League student back in Penfield, New York, where I came from, and I had the opportunity to participate on my high school's robotics team, Team 1511 from Penfield High School. It was a really transformative experience for me that helped me grow a lot and made a huge difference in my life. And when I think back to the mentors who put so much time in to help me, that's why I continue to create this opportunity for other students in my school community, because I recognize what a difference this really makes for students. And I feel that if people understood this program and were able to see it through my eyes and see the experiences that I had, they would realize and share my vision that we need to get this into the hands of every student we can.
So tell me a little bit about that. What do you think the future of robotics looks like? What are you guys doing in the community?
Yeah, so the future of robotics at Pentucket is, I would definitely say it's bright. We have 60 students in grades 5 through 12 right now participating either in our first LEGO League team, which serves 5th and 6th grade students. They design and build a Lego robot and solve real world problems in accordance with a theme. We have our middle school team, which is grades 7 and 8. They're building a robot the size of roughly a backpack that plays a 2v2 game. And then our high school team is building a 150-pound robot that runs around on a field the size of a basketball court. Imagine 6 robots the size and weight of dishwashers driving around at the speed of a car on a basketball field made of steel. It's pretty exciting. It has the energy of BattleBots, but with a much more wholesome energy around helping each other and uplifting our community. We do a lot of work in our community. Since we started, we've run 95 outreach events, including robot demonstrations, but also working with local food pantries, running a blood drive, and all sorts of other really amazing activities, because in this program in FIRST, we really put emphasis not just on teaching STEM skills to students, but also in really building ethical and whole people at the end of this. We're really using robots to build students, and the robots are a vessel through which we transform young students into really capable, thoughtful, and incredible people.
You had mentioned the CSO work that you've done. Can you tell my viewers about that as well?
Yeah, so our first LEGO League team, which is composed of 5th and 6th graders in Pentucket Regional School District, it's a pilot program this year that we started that has students from every single elementary school in Pentucket Regional School District. They came together really to start this program with the goal of being able to expand it to reach more students. Part of their program is doing a research project where they have to look at a real world issue that lines up with the theme of the year. This year's theme is the oceans, and they have to come up with a technology-derived solution to the problem that they came up with. So our students, looking at the theme of oceans, looked towards the Merrimack River and realized that there was a lot of combined sewage overflow events from all up the river, and that there isn't a sufficient notification system. If you pull out your weather app, you're going to see that there is air quality warnings and stuff like that. However, most residents in our area know that there's combined sewage overflow events coming from towns like, or cities like Haverhill. However, the Merrimack River is not really dependent on municipalities. If there's a CSO event in Merrimack, New Hampshire, that still affects us, but not many residents here are thinking about what's going on in Merrimack, New Hampshire. So they thought about creating a system that looks at the ecosystem of a river and provides notifications based on the ecology as opposed to the municipal districting that we provide with our governments. And so they came up with a warning system that would work and pair with weather apps and use data from institutions like Google Maps to notify people in the area of combined sewage overflow events, just the same way that you get notifications about high pollen count or smoke in the air, stuff like that on the weather app. And they won first place for their innovation project at their first competition and qualified for the state championships that they participated in. They actually recently heard that from the Merrimack Watershed Council that their solution is actually being adopted. That group had similarly found that there was a need for something like this, and similarly found that there was an opportunity to do something very similar, integrating with weather apps to do that. And so they are actually releasing a system in the next few months that does exactly what these kids came up with. And that's the really incredible thing about this program, is I can't think of another program that 10 and 11-year-olds can be participating in where they really understand a real world problem, provide a real solution, and can make meaningful change.
Do you do exhibits for the public so that people can see what you're doing here?
Yeah, every January we hold our annual open house, our first Robotics at Pentucket open house, which includes all the students and families in grades 5 through 12. And we showcase every single program that we have here, and it's continuing to grow year over year. All of our events that we participate in are free to the public. We're currently in the process of trying to get more events up here in the Cape Ann region, because while we do have a lot of opportunity, we don't have a lot of events near us. And so for this year, for example, we're participating in one event in Salem, New Hampshire, which is the nearest event to us. The incredible thing about the events is that they're free and open to the public. So you get to see 40 teams from all over the New England area come and compete with robots that are all different, work differently, and they get to test and see what's the most effective solution.
Is there anything else you would like the viewers to know?
Yeah, the thing that I really would want every viewer to know is that this program is truly incredible, and it takes a village to raise a program like this. We are totally funded by our community. We have many very generous sponsors that care about the STEM opportunity in Pentucket Regional School District and make this program possible. We have such incredible support from our school community and the 3 communities that we serve, and we have 10 mentors who volunteer countless hours to share their expertise. In my mentor pool, I work with a doctor of chemistry, I work with IT administrators, I work with multiple forms of engineers, and we all come together to create this and to continue to expand, to provide this opportunity both at Pentucket Regional School District, but also in other communities in our area. It really comes down to volunteers and being able to uplift students through this program by coming out with sponsors, coming out with new teams and new students who want to get involved. There's a place for everyone in this program, and we really want to welcome everyone into this community because it's making such a huge difference in the world.
I agree. Can we see what you're doing?
Yeah, I would love to show you some robots.
All right, let's look.
So over here you can see that we are working on calculations for our robot CAD. So we design everything in CAD because it allows us to use our advanced manufacturing equipment to create really precise measurements and custom materials. These students are learning how to use computer-aided design to create things very akin to what modern manufacturing practices look like. So right here you can see they're creating a manipulator that's going to be able to grab PVC pipes as one of this year's game elements. And so in here, this is where we teach all of our engineering classes that we offer here at Pentucket Regional Middle High School. And so over here, we have our middle schoolers who are in the first tech challenge. And this is their robot Pixis, named after the compass from Jason and the Argonauts. And these guys are super cool. They actually just received the second place robot design award at their first event and placed 3rd overall in competition. They'll be able to show us a few things right now. And so this game is similarly ocean themed. They're playing a game called Into the Deep. And so they have to grab these game pieces known as samples and score them into the high and low chamber for various amounts of points. So this robot runs around with an arm that has multiple degrees of freedom here to score as many as they can during a match. In competition, they'll play 2v2.
On survivors, you'll be right down somewhere. Yeah, I'm the improvised driver. You have to use this 6. Okay, I got it. Alright, now we can go for one in this is what we call the submersible zone. Yeah, it has almost all pieces in the game. Yeah. There are 15, there's 15 of each blue and red, and then there is 30 yellow and orange. What's happened? Something happened. What? Something different. You're only allowed to play one game at a time. There are penalties, but the only penalties in the game add points to the other team.
That's a good strategy, where you just push it along the ground to reorient it.
Yeah.
We should remember that.
That's why we're doing that one time. So we have a motor down below that will pull this rope in, and it just pulls down on the arm, which brings us up. And then the arm will also extend, so we make sure that the cord there won't touch the ground. And to let go, all you have to do is press A, but you have to be careful because this is a level 2 climb. It gets us 15 points. The bar right above it gets us 30.
You have the robot on though?
It's on.
How's the voltage reading?
Oh, we put the right battery. We'll go on the table.
Okay. Go a long way. We fixed that. Sorry, my bad. Oh, okay, that's enough. Has that separates us from the other ones is the amount of school support that we have with the assistant superintendent really coming in and driving this forward for us, as well as a lot of the community support that we have and the knowledge base that we were able to bring in made a huge difference. We did not look like a traditional rookie team last year.
It's February, and that means it's Black History Month. Nearby, North Andover's Black History Committee worked together with their Historical Society and Unitarian Universalist Church to host a variety of free events in February, March, and culminating in a Juneteenth celebration. You can find out about it and register for the Historical Society events by going to northandoverhistoricalsociety.org. The church's events are found on their calendar at northparish.org. There are also banners on display at the North Andover Common. The banners acknowledge and celebrate Black people with a local, regional, or state connection. They include a QR code to read a short biography of each person, and your time is well spent by going and checking them out. And now I'd like to introduce a new segment to highlight the history of our town.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Lee Thomas, and I'm here with What Was Up Groveland. Across Main Street from the Groveland Congregational Church and Perry Park can be found two historical houses that have been part of this community's history for centuries. According to the Groveland Historical Society, they were part of the Underground Railroad in pre-Civil War Massachusetts. Here's what we know. In the 1850s, there were 3 Underground Railroad routes throughout Massachusetts. The number 1 route ran along the coast from Boston to New Hampshire. The number 3 route ran to Lowell and then north to New Hampshire. The number 2 route ran from Danvers to Georgetown to Groveland, across the Merrimack River to Haverhill, to New Hampshire, and safe houses called stations, to fit along with the idea of the railroad. They were along the route, and the guides who had escaped slaves along that journey were called conductors. The most influential participants were usually religious congregations. The most active congregation in Groveland in the Underground Railroad was the Methodist Church. Lemuel Marden was born on August 30th, 1745, in what was then East Bradford, but would later become Groveland, and he lived there until his death in 1819. In 1765, he married Hannah Greenough, also of Bradford. A stonemason, Marden served in the Bradford branch of the Minutemen. He brought his skills to Boston and participated in the construction of the Massachusetts State House. Using his wages from that job, in 1770, he built what is now known as the Marden House on Main Street. He fought at the battles of Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill in 1775. When Lemuel built his house, he was constructing it next to a house that was built by the Parker family in 1683. Over time, various additions were made to the house, expanding the space and its uses. In 1777, Peter Parker, another Bradford Minuteman, converted the front room into a grocery store, which was the oldest continuously working grocery store in the United States until its closing in the 1960s. In the 1850s, the house was purchased by Hezekiah Hopkinson, and part of the house was made into a circuit courtroom with balconies and everything. What makes people think these two houses were involved in the Underground Railroad? Well, Hezekiah Hopkinson was a member of the Groveland Methodist Church, that active church I talked about. A tunnel was discovered that connected the basements of the Parker and Marden houses. There is evidence that each house had passageways leading to the banks of the Merrimack. Those passageways were probably created so that goods destined for the grocery store could be transported from Newburyport up the river and delivered to the businesses there. And when renovations were made in the Parker House in the early 1900s, the workers discovered what was called a secret room, which was a design that was quite common in colonial American homes on what was then the frontier. In houses that had multiple fireplaces and chimneys, there was a 6-foot by 6-foot space in the basement where the various flues converged. It was determined that if the house was attacked and set on fire, the material of the flues would protect the inhabitants, and once things had cooled down, the people could climb out through the flues to safety. This was the colonial version of a safe room, if you will. So, we have circumstantial evidence of a possible connection between Groveland and the Underground Railroad, but no solid historical accounts, which is appropriate since the stations were secrets. It's nice to suppose those houses played a part, but I guess you'll have to be the judge of that yourself.
Thank you, Lee. It's always fun to learn new secrets about Groveland. Folks, have you ever wished you could leave your car behind? Good transportation is an important issue for everyone. In semi-rural Groveland, it seems like we drive everywhere, walk, or use a bike to get around. But here's another option: public transportation. Right here in Groveland, we are serviced by Merrimack Valley Transit Authority, or MEVA. And there are 2 lines with several stops. The first line, 18, which can take you to Washington Square in Haverhill. The second line, 11, which goes to downtown Newburyport. All the schedules are available on mevatransit.com. The best news of all is that the rides on these buses are free. Why not try a trip to Newburyport and avoid the parking hassles? We'll share more car-free tips in the future episodes. For Groveland residents age 60 and over, the Council on Aging also offers rides near and far. Check out the options on the town website under Council on Aging or call COA at 978-372-1101. Whether you're headed to VZ Park, the library, town hall, or a hair salon, a medical appointment, or simply visiting friends, the COA van can make getting around easy and stress-free. All transportation options provide convenient door-to-door service.
How about that, Rich? It makes getting to Newburyport so easy. In other news, a Community Preservation Act project approved at last April's annual town meeting broke ground last month. The Pines Parking Enhancement Project will provide additional paved parking, improve safety and accessibility to town-owned recreational facility. This project will also provide a pedestrian connection between Town Hall Complex parking lot and the Pines to increase parking and accessibility for everyone. According to Town Administrator Rebecca Oldham, the project is fully funded by the CPA and should be completed in 2025.
Did you know that heart disease is the leading cause of death for both men and women in the United States? No matter how old you are, taking care of your heart is one of the most important things you can do for your health. Join the Groveland Council on Aging for a heart health cooking demo and meal on Tuesday, February 11th at 10:30 a.m. The cost is $5 and registration is required. Call the Groveland COA at 978-372-1101 to reserve your spot today. Take the first steps towards a healthier heart. It's never too late or early to start.
Less panting and more planting. The old dog park at the Pines could be reimagined into a vibrant community garden. The area is flat, gets a good amount of sun, and has an existing fence. The design phase for a community garden is also a current Community Preservation Act project. Kurt Habel of Family Farms is helping to determine what is needed to make this project a reality. He had the soil tested and met with the Conservation Commission already. Jan Dempsey is looking for input from you to help with the design phase. Please email her at jandempsey444@gmail.com.
And that's all we have for you this time, folks. Thank you for joining us again, and we look forward to bringing you another show in March. Remember that you can get links to all our broadcasts and find our community calendar on the website at gcnnews.net. Send us news tips or feedback at whatsupgroveland@gmail.com. We'd like to hear from you. See you next time.
GCN, Groveland's Community News.